Cambodia. The country of ancient temples, dreamy islands and laid-back towns. I spent 10 amazing days in Cambodia. I went to Kampot, Koh Rong, Phnom Penh, the capital, and Siem Reap before leaving the country and going on to my next adventure. And this is a video to watch if you really want to delve in to the true beauty of this sensational country. Even though my time here was short, it was completely unforgettable, and I'll try and persuade you why you should include Cambodia on your travels. We took a public bus to get from Phu Quoc, the island at the bottom of Vietnam, into our first stop, which is Kampot. The 24 hours in Kampot was really quite remarkable. We went to the pepper plantation, which is sent all over the world, and I just didn't know there are so many different types of pepper grown. You had pepper that was grown for sweet treats, for spice, and anything in between, and it was truly quite remarkable to see the whole process of it being grown, and it was completely free to do. Before we even delved in to the plantation of the peppers, we tried chocolate pepper ice cream. I know what you're thinking, doesn't sound that great, but believe me, it was truly beautiful. It was really interesting flavour. You had the coldness of the ice cream, you had the sweet flavour of the chocolate, and then you had the crunch and something a little bit different from the homegrown peppers, and it was truly remarkable. It really set the tone for the rest of the day, and we managed to just squeeze in on the last free tour. So the sun was going down as we strolled around this incredible plantation. The owners are French and Belgian, so they came over and created a whole new lives for themselves, are really reaping the rewards from having a pepper plantation which is sent globally. Fun fact about the pepper of Kampot is that it is protected by the geographical indication, which is the same as champagne in France. Yes, you wouldn't put pepper with Cambodia, but it's the equivalent of champagne in France. That is what people think of as a delicacy from this country. The way we got to this pepper plantation was through the Grab app, just like Uber, but in Asia. Really cheap, really simple to use. But they don't do it the conventional way in Kampot, at least. They don't use normal cars, they use tuk-tuks. So the three of us squeezed into the back of a tuk-tuk as the sun was going down, and it was truly quite remarkable. So many different interesting colours and flavours that we saw and tasted, and it was just amazing to do. Considering it was free, it was just the pepper on top. Not really the same, but we're going to go with it. And that was what we did in the afternoon after arriving in the morning. Then we strolled down by the river. There's bars and restaurants. There's just such a chilled environment, going from the chaotic country of Vietnam to the calm of Cambodia. It is truly brilliant. You can stroll around, you can go down, have several beers for dirt cheap prices, and it was truly amazing to do. My only regret about Kampot is that we didn't stay there for longer. We didn't have enough time there. The atmosphere there was just total opposite of Vietnam. Not in a bad way, but it was just so relaxing, and you could really spend several days here, potentially weeks, from the beautiful place of Kampot. Going on from Kampot, I didn't really think we'd go to a place which was more relaxed and just more down tools, but we certainly did. We hopped on a ferry and went to Koh Rong, an island just at the bottom of Cambodia. Lonely beach. And this place is the definition of a relaxing retreat, apart from on Saturdays where Nestival is held. That place is hectic. Day drinking all the way until 6-7 a.m. at this lively and enthralling hostel if you want it. Loud music, games, cheap drinks, and a backpacker's paradise where you can meet so many different people, have face paint all over your body, you really want it, and just indulge in the party atmosphere here. Throughout the rest of the week, Sunday to Friday, it's pretty relaxing. It's the first time I actually hopped on a moped. I finally had the courage to go on one and explore the island. There's no cars on this island, so if you want to explore, it's either by taxi just hop on. So cheap to rent, about £5 a day in Koh Rong. And just enjoy the scenery. The beaches here are remarkable. Golden sand, turquoise water, warm water. It is truly paradise. We spent 4 days there, and it could have been so much more because there was just so much to do. It was truly sensational to be there. Not a stress in the world, and somewhere you can really relax and enjoy life for the simplicity of it. If you're a backpacker, and even if you're not, it is truly exquisite. Going on for my regret of Kampot, my regret of Koh Rong was not seeing the light up plankton, which you see at night and it lights up the whole beach with a remarkable bright blue colour. Something that we just didn't do and didn't delve into, which was a regret. But that means I've got another excuse to go back to Koh Rong. So it's not all bad. Going from the relaxed and happy-go-lucky island of Koh Rong, we went to Phnom Penh, which is the capital, and this place is filled with sadness from its history. We visited the memorial site of Chu Young Ek, where just under 2 million people were slaughtered under the regime of the Khmer Rouge, which was led by Pol Pot, and his ideology was basically go back to simpler times. He eliminated anyone with education, and it was basically so everyone was on the same playing field. And it was so incredibly sad to go to. It was something I thought was important to do, to pay my respects to the people who have passed away here. A really, truly sad place to go visit because the atrocities that happen there are just unfathomable. They're just so heartbreaking. It was quite remarkable that it was just overseen from the rest of the world what was going on. People didn't really truly take notice or know what's happening when these atrocities were happening. We also went to a prison which is called S21, and that was the school that turned into a prison for people that went off to Chuang Ek. Moving on from the dark history of Phnom Penh, the city itself was really quite beautiful. It had the same sort of feel to Kampot, but just slightly bigger, of course, because it's the capital city and the biggest city in Cambodia. But I actually did something very westernised. It's something I wanted to do whilst over there, to just see what it was like. And that was go to a cinema. I went to a huge shopping mall in Phnom Penh, got some really cheap clothes, some nice clothes I'd say, personally. But going to the cinema was really quite fun. I saw a really manly and masculine film, Snow White. And that was good fun. It was not too bad. And something that I noticed, which was very evident when I was there, is that before the film actually starts, you stand up and the Cambodian national anthem came up, and I was the only Westerner in there. The people looking at me rather confused while I stood up, but I thought I'd do it out of respect, and I'm glad I did. It was something a little bit different, but yeah, the film itself was okay, and it was a really cheap experience. For the ticket, a drink and popcorn, it was $7.50. So incredibly cheap. This is the first time I've ever been to the cinema by myself, and it's in Cambodia. Got this for $2.50 and got this massive soft drink for, again, $2.50. $5 in total. Look forward to it, to be fair. It should be good, something a bit different, but yeah, let's see how it goes. Watching a film that isn't that masculine, but don't really care, because I've been really craving to watch something at the cinema since being in Southeast Asia. And that's another thing about Cambodia. The currency is really a little bit strange. So their local currency is Cambodian riel, but you can also pay in US dollars. But the thing is that when you go to a restaurant, you go to a bar, you sit down, you're hungry. You want to just order as quickly as possible, get a beer in, whatever you want, and the menu is all in US dollars. So you've only got Cambodian riel with you, but everything on the menu is in US dollars. You've got to do a conversion from Cambodian riel to US dollars to make sure that you have enough for your meal. And the strangest part about Cambodia, I'd say, this is a statement, like, I think that this is completely true, is that when you get your change, you get Cambodian riel and US dollars mixed together. So you just have to hope that it's the correct amount, because me personally, I had no way of tracking that it was actually the correct amount. So that was quite interesting to deal with for a week and a half. And swiftly moving on to our last destination in Cambodia, which is Siem Reap. The main reason we had to go to Siem Reap, and if you go, you must go as well, is to go to Angkor Wat. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site which was built in the 14th century and has the world's largest religious monument. How cool is that? So fascinating. It's over 400 acres of land, which is bigger than the smallest country in the world, Vatican City. Most people get a tour guide to go around because 400 acres is pretty large. But me and my friend Ben decided to walk it, and oh my word, I was absolutely cream crackered by the end of it. Look at we walked for 30 kilometers. It took all day. The things that you saw were really quite remarkable. You can really sense the history in the air whilst you're here. It's incredible. The sandstone blocks that were used to build these temples were brought in from 25 miles away in the 14th century. So got no lorries to bring that in. It's quite a long way to transport tons and tons of the sandstone blocks in. And when looking at the Cambodian flag, the main temple there from Angkor Wat is the centre of the flag. It's its national treasure. It's the pride and joy of this sensational and underrated country, and you can see why. It is truly magnificent just to soak up the history here and see different temples. We walked around different roads in and through a jungle as well, which Strava thankfully got us back to safety. If you go there before 5:30 in the evening, it's around $30 US to get in, $35 US. So worth it. However, if you're a backpacker and looking to save a little bit of money, go after 5:30, go for sunset, and it's completely free. I personally believe that if an 8th wonder of the world is added, it must be Angkor Wat. It is truly remarkable. The history here is second to none, and you can just sense that while strolling around these iconic temples. Here is a review of how I actually felt at the time whilst walking around and getting rather tired physically of these amazing and sensational temples. We've made it back to Angkor Wat Temple. Look at that view, absolutely stunning. But yeah, what a sight, what a way to end the day. And then we're gonna stay here for about 45 minutes more to see the sun go down. And I can't wait. Honestly, more for the sit down than the actual sunset, but yeah, both will be great. This place is buzzing with atmosphere, and the two examples of this would be Pub Street and the circus here. Pub Street is a lot smaller version of Khao San Road in Bangkok, Thailand, or walking street in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. But still full of life, full of character, and full of great music to dance the night away. Cheap drinks under $1, so you can really indulge in the backpacking lifestyle if you want to. To finish off the time in Cambodia, we went to the circus, and this circus has a world record. Fair, the Cambodian circus, the longest circus show of all time. On the 8th of March 2021, they went just over 24 hours of continuous circusing, if that's a word, which is truly sensational, and it was rather cheap to go. They brought the energy, it was incredible. Flips, storyline, the lighting, the scenery, the acting, everything that went into it was perfect. And that's it for Cambodia. So much we crammed into such a small amount of time, and it was truly remarkable. I think Laos and Cambodia are two countries that might get missed when going to Southeast Asia. Hopefully I've persuaded you that you should delve into this country, even if it's for a short amount of time, like 10 days. So much to do. Landscape, history, performances, you name it, Cambodia's got it. And I truly appreciate you watching this whole video. Like, subscribe and follow for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.